Yaleehoo! Hey guys, Bolt back here with another reaction video. This time we are doing Foxyimations. This is the creator that I can love to hate. Mostly love though, because they are doing pretty well with animation. But I'll probably react to this here soon. But we're only here for the Tragedies and Fears, which is, I'm guessing, gonna be more of what this was. So, a thing that a lot of people didn't like about this is that it's AI, like the text-to-speech vocals, but it's also AI now for a lot of the more newer stuff. Which a thing is, you do gotta not like that. But a lot of people liked this because back in the early days of Five Nights at Freddy's, people made lost tapes, as it were, as kind of like, oh, what if you were there when the haunted animatronics were performing? And based on this one we're seeing here, this one will be more closer to the MCI. We saw of course, the spirits. We saw a little bit of Spring Bonnie, but I think this one's gonna be a lot more violent, probably. But anyways, the link will be in the description below for you to see this yourself. But anyways, let's go. All right. Yeah. Similar to the original tapes. Oh! Let's see what you got with the marionette. I'm guessing this, almost any child or Susan Woodings looking is supposed to be Charlie. I'm starting to be the pause right before it shows up. 85. Damn. Damn. And the way he just slunk. I also don't like the face. That his face is so realistic. So, one thing, if you saw my recent Five Nights at Freddy's timeline theory, I don't believe Charlie died at the 1985. Well, I don't think she died at the similar times to the MCI. I believe it was not too long after the Bite of 83 Because I think it was like almost back to back. William in Griefing eventually goes to kill Well, I don't think he was planning to kill Charlie, but the situation showed itself. Um, so I think it was the big bite, and then Charlie's death, and then it continued to be open because it would have had similar paper clippings about her missing, but I think because he was outside, it doesn't count as a normal thing attached to Fazbear, unlike the bites and the missing and DCI. I also don't like the instant kill here. I think that is supposed to be more based on how William was originally portrayed. I'm starting to lose my English here. When he was just known as the purple guy, a lot of people just saw him as like the literal man behind the slaughter. Without no emotion, just kind of just like bloodlust. I really like what Unwithered Truth did. We reacted to that last week, I believe. Or I'm going to react to it today. I don't know. I reacted to it. The concept of him being a family member in Charlie's eyes. Like Uncle Willie or Uncle Bill or Uncle William makes a lot more sense because Henry and William, even though it's kind of complicated now in the lore, they are normally the co-founders of Fazbear Entertainment in most properties, with like the Silver Eyes, the Tales, Into the Pit shows them. So it's kind of weird that he wouldn't kind of show that face of luring showing off his charisma before just stabbing her. Okay, I'll take that design.
I recognize you, but I'm not afraid of you. Not anymore.
Okay. Yeah, okay. This is like early creepypasta videos and early analog horror feel. It's very cheap. It's feeling. I think. Oh, what was it? Not Horror Bro. Is it Horror Bro? He's the one who's been like on. He recently made a short film for analog horror, but he's like. He loves the Walden Files series, but he recently said that this series is mostly like it's good in animation, but in terms of like it's very cheap and like old jump scares and the way the creep factor used to be, and it's kind of like it's stayed back then versus things have evolved, and a lot of people are just like it's whatever. I mean, there's of course going to be unsettlingness and like the uncanny valley with a lot of these, but like stretching faces, saturated colors and stuff.
Hello, everybody. You ready to have a good time? I know I am. 'Cause it's Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
Not playing this song because it's probably copyrighted. Even though it's not a part of the actual game. Gabriel was Freddy. This song is an unreleased version of the Showtime button from Help Wanted, so I'm guessing it's still under copyright law. So I'm gonna have to quiet it. A real fun-loving guy. I just don't. Bonnie's design, I think, is the worst. Like, I mean, the jaw of anything. I really need to get an account. Because this is getting annoying. Jeremy!
Get your pizza by the pound. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, where all the kids are safe and sound.
Okay, that's the backstage.
Hey, I'm Chica, the lady of the group. My
So sweet. Susie.
Finally, there's Foxy. One eye and a hook for a hand. He hangs out over in Pirates Cove. Now you've met all the members of the band.
Okay. Fritz. I think these are like overly used faces.
Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. It's time for us to eat.
For the next hour, add meat to any kid's pizza for just $1.
And if your parents really love you, they'll buy you a 32-ounce Freddy
Cassidy. Okay, this one's gonna be Uncanny Valley. Strip. Yeah. Oh. What's that face? Okay, realistic, but... I don't like that. I hate when doors are so, like, accurate. I don't believe this would, he did a 1x1. Because 5 kids are still gonna beat down on an adult. He might get 1 or 2 of them, but not before they do anything to him or till like the spring lock suit gets disengaged. Alright, I'm gonna cut the feed real quick. Are you gonna show anything? No. Okay. Probably gonna see a lot of aftermath. He just lunged at him with a knife. I like the design for the puppet. There we go. This one is unclear to the lore now. If the puppet was the one to actually precede the process. I wish, oh. So one thing I do not like about this so far is the fact that they have to, like, William, perfectly fine to use the realistic face for because he is the murderer. But I think the kids, I would rather of him have his own style for. Um, Very similar to Charlie, but it's kind of overused with the faces. And it kind of loses the factor on William because you're showing the kids with the faces. That perfect.
Hey, everyone!
Hello, boys and girls.
Criminal. I love the callback to Die in a Fire from Living Tombstone. That's the song they made for Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Oh, okay. Of course, you have to give Afton an axe. Okay. You know what you're doing. Speed it up a little bit here. Okay, we're actually gonna. Okay. We changed it up a little bit, okay. Wait. So for Freddy and Bonnie, you do the lazy mini game style, and then for Chica and Foxy, I know Foxy's the more popular one, but Chica? I mean, I guess you probably already made the first two and then wanted to do different for the other two. Like, I mean, you probably changed your mind mid animation for that. Man, I would have rather you waited a little bit longer and gave us the full thing, and kind of altered what William did with each and every one of them. Okay.
Take 50% off Christmas right now at...
Get out of my face. Yeah. So, I think this kind of throws into what I was trying to say in my theory. A lot lot of people use the theory of molten MCI, which is basically during this era of the mini games of Final Fantasy 3. After Final Fantasy 1, he comes in, destroys the bots. The theory is basically he takes the metal of the endoskeletons from all 5 animatronics and puts all the spirits together, melts it down collectively, and then spreads the molten remnant across the Funtime animatronics. The Funtime animatronics are already a thing. So the wiring is not of the idea for molten MCI. Yes, you can inject it and make it to where the animatronics are constantly a remnant, but the scooper constantly takes out the remnant and leaves a little bit to kind of like still engage the activity of that. So no matter what, the molten MCI would not make any sense because it's not gonna keep the remnant in that in the first place. And then like this is kind of a thing that I would like to mention again, is the fact that it's just like, so he's seen 4 out of 5 animatronics. He has not found Fredbear, or has not done anything with the Golden Freddy suit. Unless we're saying the Shadow Freddy is actually just him using the Fredbear suit to lure them, which makes no sense because we don't get to see it, and it would be visible during his death, but it's up in the air. We would need that extra of, is the Fredbear suit what he uses? Classic. Very classic. Aww.
I always come back.
So, alright. Well, I did like having a lot of classic Five Nights at Freddy's stuff.
Download Arcanite's.
While I did like a lot of callbacks, I really don't like some of what they did there. I especially do not like the heads on the kids, the cheap jump scares, like I said. I think I might have to watch. I'm gonna have to kind of see what other people think of him before I continue doing any more stuff of his. Like if I start noticing a giant leap in quality, I'll come back. But I just think it's kind of, I can't do this stuff right now. I'm trying to learn how to do that kind of stuff. But it's just like a lot of people do like how he does humans, which I can understand, but like it feels very lazy. Just the weird swooshing they do. I understand the puppet doing it because it looks very like puppetry kind of, where it's like connected by joints and you can only do animations based on what you have the joints linked up to. But like the puppet's more noodly, thanks to Help Wanted. But human style is good. The animatronics could use some work. Like I said, I really didn't like Bonnie, and it kind of feels odd. And then also it's like a lot of cheap usage of stuff. Like I know there's a lot more audio logs from the first one that they could have done. A lot of this stuff is a lot more newer and a lot more actual from the actual games. But anyways, I don't want to badmouth him too much. It's just I personally do not care much for that betrayal. What's one more thing? Oh, I was gonna say before I ended the video. The audio they use for the Springtrap scene, that is very classic, very nostalgic. But I think I personally prefer the one we got from the Into the Pit now, because that feels more realistic. Because the other one is just like imagining him screaming for a long periods of time. I saw this one short where like someone used it properly, where it's just like the cage area does crush his lungs, so he wouldn't be able to speak nor scream. And we're saying like all these spring locks are like going off like continuously. So it's like, yeah, an area would go off, making him start to scream, and like you would slowly feel the pain, but eventually the major parts of his body would get enclosed, like the rib cage area with the lungs. I really like the rollback of the animatronic eyes into the skull. That is one thing I think is perfect in any kind of way of the Springtrap design. Of like the false eyes versus the animatronic eyes. And that kind of like being like the Saw reverse bear trap kind of style, where it clamped down on the head and roll and like force the eyes back. It's a very similar to what Five Nights at Freddy's 1 did, with like you're getting forced into a cramped space, so everything just. But enough about this like gruesome scene. I just think Foxyimations could do better. Like, I don't need to see realistic faces on every single thing that you want to make spooky. I would have loved just you keeping it just to Purple Guy. The Follow Me minigame, half being like the minigame style, half being the Foxymation style. I'm not calling them lazy. Like I said, I can't do this stuff, but I feel like they could have done so much better. And that's kind of something that's very noticeable with a lot of recent stuff. Is yes, they have evolved as an artist and a content creator, but it's just the cheapness of certain things is becoming very apparent. But alright, I'm gonna go watch a video real quick, and then I gotta go try to get one more thing done before I have to go to bed, which is very soon. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.